Hello, you're listening to Count Richard von Coudenhove kalergi. Today is Friday, September the 28th, and these are just a couple of comments on the last week. I sent an email to the Department of Foreign Affairs looking for clarification on the Marrakesh political declaration, and I received an email back. I actually rang them, they don't take phone calls, so I had to send in my request by email. And they replied back on Tuesday saying that Ireland was actually going to sign this document on the December of this year. On Monday afternoon, I was actually on the Joe Duffy show. I phoned in initially to talk about Brexit, and then I thought here was an opportunity to actually talk about the Marrakesh political declaration on a bigger platform than, say, the Niall Boylan show. So I got to talk about other things, including migration. And I was on for about 15 minutes. I thought that was quite well, and I was pleased that I actually got to call in. On Wednesday, I was in my local library, and I noticed that I was going through the letter pages, and for Tuesday, letters page in the Irish Times, there's a very long letter talking about graffiti seen in Rathmines, Dublin 6, opposite the Swan Cinema, which was the kalergi plan with a Star David beside it. And this person who wrote the letter said that they were disgusted with this anti-Semitic graffiti appearing on the streets of Dublin. Now, on Wednesday evening, I actually drove up to Dublin to see that graffiti myself, and actually took a photograph of it, and it was outside the Swan Centre there, opposite the newsagent. And perchance I happened to be passing through Rathmines earlier on this evening, and that graffiti had actually now gone. Another comment in relation to that graffiti, that person who wrote the letter actually phoned the Joe Duffy show on Thursday, and they spoke about how disgusted they were about this, and they mentioned about Count Richard von Coudenhove kalergi and his origins. They said that he was a pacifist. He believed in the unification of people and a unification of nations. But one of the things he didn't mention was that in 1923, Count Richard von Coudenhove kalergi wrote a book called Practical Ideology, and in that book he says that the man of the future will be of mixed race. Classes will gradually disappear to the vanishing of space, time, and prejudice. The Eurasian Negroid race of the future, similar to the ancient Egyptians, will replace the diversity of peoples. Now, I think that's quite an interesting quote. And on Thursday, I sent Katie Hopkins an email asking her, seeing that I'm a subscriber to Rebel Media and have been now for over a year, would she consider doing a piece on the Marrakesh political declaration? And I was very happy to actually get a reply back from her today, thanking me for the email, and that it would be something that she would be looking into at a later date. I noticed today, Friday, planning permission has actually been given for the mosque in Kilkenny, and in an interview on Kilkenny radio, a retired Church of Ireland Archbishop called John Neal welcomed the news about the building of the mosque. Now, at the start of the 20th century, 30% of the Christian population, 30% of Turkey was a Christian, and now it's down to 0.4%. In Syria, 33% of the population was Christian, now it's down to 4%. In Lebanon, 55% of the population was Christian in 1932, now it's down to 30%. In Egypt, at the start of the 20th century, the population was 25% Christian, now it's down to 10%. In 2015, there was 115,000 Christians killed in different conflicts around the world, and in 2016 it was 95,000 Christians. So, Mr. Neil, I think you need to be careful who you actually welcome. I'd also like to thank, I have a list of new subscribers here. I'd like to thank you for signing up for my channel. I hope you find the information interesting and informative. And they're just a couple of my thoughts, which are my own. Thanks for listening, and bye bye.